You're listening to Free Mama Radio, where we believe you can have both a successful business and show up as the mom you want to be. I'm your host, Lauren Golden, a mom who built a full-time income working part-time hours. Now, I help other moms like you learn how to work from home on your own terms, take control of your schedule, and make more money so you can live a totally awesome, guilt-free life. I am on a mission to make sure that no mother has to choose between family and financial stability. So if you've been wondering, can I really have it all? This podcast will give you the answers.
Lots of things have been going on in the Golden family. I know you guys read about them on our Thursday emails sometimes, or you hear me share them on coaching calls around these lives. In fact, just last week, I think, on New Year's Eve, I sent an email that literally started something along the lines of, if you told me that I would be a homeschooling mom living on a farm in Kansas, I would have thought that you were insane. By the way, the original version of that said something a little less PG and we edited it, but those were my actual words because that is how crazy and far-fetched this seemed. Now, through a series of events and life changes and things that happen and things that are working and not working, and I can relate all of this back to freelancing businesses because we want everything to be this super straight, narrow, perfect path, and then we've arrived. In fact, who can identify with that? My inner circle girls and I talked about this a few weeks ago. How many of you can identify with you're a hard worker, you're willing to work hard, you want this, right? But you want to nail it and then you want to cross it off, right? I've figured this out. I get it. I've got it. You want to you want to be done. You don't want to work, but you want to be done figuring it out. Can anybody else relate to that? I have no idea how long my delay is today. I hate when I have to sit here and talk to myself just to be are we alive? What's our pulse check? Anybody out there? Does anybody else know? I'm the only one. I'm the only recovering perfectionist that works super, super hard and then is okay, I'm really tired. I just want to get this right and then be done. Okay. Thank you, Nico. Okay, just the two of us. All right. Hey, Tammy. Good morning. Hey, Danielle. Okay. Heidi can relate to this. Perfect. So, John. All right. You guys feel me. Finally. Okay, good. We got this. All right. So we're in this together. This is literally the work that I've been doing with my, I think she calls herself an intuitive life coach. A lot of you guys met Jillian at Free Mama Live. And I'll show you guys because we have no secrets here. While I was talking to her, I shared, this is my Jillian journal, by the way. So these are my deepest, darkest thoughts. So please don't screenshot this and put it on the universe. But I wrote down, as she was talking to me, I don't know if you guys can see this, I wrote down quest to be right. And then I edit it because I don't want to be, I don't think I know everything. I don't think I'm better than other people. I'm not really on a quest to be right, but I'm on a quest to getting it right. And I told her, I was I'm tired because back in August just of this year, 2020, which was so hard for so many people, I got angel numbers, 12, 11. You guys, they're everywhere, the 11s these days, which means we're all on the right path. Okay. Back in August, my family, we got it right. We had just gotten back from this 8-week RV trip and we decided to homeschool our kids and we felt really good about the decision. And we hired a nanny who was going to help us part-time so that we still had the ability to get our work done without feeling super guilty or leaving our kids in front of the TV all day. And we still were able to take care of ourselves. When the gym opened back up, we were getting poured into, having our cups filled through my virtual moms group. And then we started meeting in person and I could exercise and my business was doing really well. And we had our event coming up and yes, we were packing and moving and it was a little chaotic, but I felt in August of 2020, oh my gosh, we got it right. We have presence with our kids. We're seeing them more. We're not being bogged down by these crazy schedules and running around and having them at school all day, but then homework and all blah, 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 blah. So August, I'm you guys, I wasn't saying this out loud, by the way, but in my head, I'm life is good. I've got this figured out. And then we had our event, which is totally chaotic for me. And you guys know this, literally do not plan 2 major life events simultaneously. It's not something I suggest doing, but alas, I did. And I survived and I'm stronger for it. But so we had our 15-day Free Mama Live virtual extravaganza at the exact same time that we were packing up to move, literally the exact same time. And then we moved and we got here and there were some adjustments, but mostly all good. We got settled into our home very, very quickly. It was a little more challenging to get into a routine with homeschooling. I'm sure some of you saw me coming on a Facebook Live one day after sobbing my eyeballs out because transition. And we got on care.com and we talked to friends and we did all these things to try to find help so that we could achieve that same balance that we had in August when things felt right. We got it right. And we couldn't find any help and it got harder. and we had no friends because we moved. So our cups weren't being refilled. And because I had no help in the afternoon, every waking moment either went into pouring into you guys or pouring into my kids. And I did nothing to take care of myself. I maybe went to the gym one day a week on Saturdays, which if you're on Instagram, you know it's my spin class. That was the one thing a week I was able to do for myself. And we went on for about probably around 45 days, I started cracking. Some of you guys witnessed this more than others. I started cracking and I'm like, what is happening? I got it right. Like we got it right. Like things were good. Like business was good. Family was good. We weren't fighting. I wasn't yelling. My kids were getting what they needed. I had support. I was taking care of myself. And now it's hard again. Like what is happening? And I'm hanging on by a thread. And I know in my knower that I can't do this all by myself because I preach that. I literally teach it to other people. But I feel like crap because I feel like the answer is that I have to send my kids back to school because I can't do it all by myself anymore. And that makes me feel like a failure because I got it right and now it's not right anymore. And so that must be my fault. And I feel guilty because I have this beautiful little 3-year-old who turns 4 on Thursday and she's not getting any attention. And I feel guilty because she's my baby and she's special. And I was the baby in my family too. We're special in case you guys didn't know. She's special and I'm not giving her the attention that she needs. And I'm going to send her to preschool. Like she's the one who's got to go. She's got to go. We love Audrey. She's got to go. Maybe I can homeschool the other kids and we'll just send Audrey. But now I feel guilty. How could I send my special little youngest child to school and not my older kids, but that would give me more of what I need. And I'm a bad mom. And you guys, this conversation drove me crazy for about 3 weeks. It drove me crazy. And for the record, to reconcile this story sooner rather than later, because we know I could turn it into a 4-hour Lifetime movie special. Today is my kid's first day at school. Audrey's still here. The one that had to go is still here. No, her preschool, which by the way, she's ecstatic about, starts on Wednesday. My other 2 kids went back to school today. Last night was rough with Henry. If any of you have heard me talk about my kids, none of this is surprising to you. Last night was rough for Henry, but today he walked in so brave and so ready and dare I say excited. Daphne was stoked, a little nervous, but stoked because she gets to be around other humans. And it made me question, what if the thing that we actually need, like what if the thing we need is actually the thing that other people in our family need from us also? You know what I mean? Like I was driving myself crazy with failure and guilt. And the day that I told Audrey that she was going to preschool, because we made that decision first, she has never looked happier, ever. So because of my guilt and my fears of failure, and because of what the story that I told myself that it meant about me or the situation, I was actually withholding from her the thing that was going to bring her joy and make her happy too. So literally the same solution is giving both of us exactly what we need, but I felt badly about it. Why do we do that? What is that? Like literally, what is that? And so Susan and everyone, and the reason that I titled this, The Things We Need to Deal With Before We Start Working on Our Goals. Some of you guys are still holding on to feelings that are not going to serve you as you pursue your goals, because I need you to hear this and I need you to hear it with so much love. Because as you can hear from one person who beats themselves up to probably another, we've got to continue to do better to release on that. So learn from my experience the past couple months, okay? You are the only reason you will not achieve your goals this year. Oh God, I know. Doesn't that suck? Don't we just like want to blame it on someone else? Like, oh, I had a bad 2020 because of COVID. Like, I get it. Let's hear it. Like, COVID messed some stuff up. I get it. Like, plans were ruined. Very serious thing. Lives were lost. Not downplaying it. But I need you to hear me one more time. The only reason you will not hit your goals in 2020 is you. And not you not being good enough. Not you not being worthy. You, the stories that you've got going on in your head that are going to mess you up if we don't deal with them. We have to deal with the things that we're feeling. We have to deal with that feeling of failure. You guys, I felt it so hard. Like if I could read you all the pages of my Jillian journal, there's like lots of failure and guilt in there. And you know what she helped me unpack? Like for real? She said, what if you're feeling all of this because you have been out of where you were when you started the Free Mama? You've been out of that feeling for so long when you felt like a failure at your job and you felt like a failure as a mom, and you felt guilty because you were working all day and not with your kids. What if it's been too long since you felt that? And you've just been given this gift of perspective so that you can feel it all over again so that you can better relate to your community. And I was like, whoa. I was literally like, oh my gosh, okay, that burns a little, but like, yeah, like I get that. I get that. And here's the deal, like, you guys, it's a journey. Like it's cyclical. And I know you guys heard me talk about this all the second half of 2020. It's cyclical. We don't get it right and we're done. We get it right and then life keeps happening. And then we're in this pursuit of continually growing and changing and evolving and challenging ourselves. And as soon as I like saw that in my notebook and reread it back to myself, I was like, okay, we got to like roll up our sleeves, mamas. Like we've got work to do. Like we might get it right, but like we're going to have another opportunity to do it again. That's the journey that we're all on. That's what we're on. So I want you guys just for a second to think about what are the feelings that you guys are feeling right now? And let me name a couple that I've experienced lately. So we talked about guilt. We talked about failure, which again, you guys, the reason this hurt me so badly, like it literally crushed my soul inside, is because those are the two things I probably despise the most when I see in other people. And I know despise is a really passionate word, but I really do. Like if I could eradicate mom guilt, if that is like the thing that I could do in my time on earth is to help moms not feel guilty, that is the thing that I have sought out to do, but yet I'm not immune to feeling it. Isn't that crazy? What a like humbling reminder. You know what I mean? So failure, guilt, another word that popped up today while I was cheating during my surrender yoga class and listening to an audiobook. We're just keeping it real, people. The word came up in the form of a question as she was talking. We're reading Get Rich Lucky BITCH, just for anybody who's either in the squad or not in the squad and you want to know what we're reading. That's what we're reading together. Then we have a book club where we talk about it. Tonight, we're actually meeting about our December book club. And she used the word inferior. And I was triggered. How many of you feel inferior to someone or something else? And that is going to get in the way, potentially, if we don't deal with it. Is that the thing that's going to prevent you from being successful? Let me show you what this might look like. Someone else is already doing it, so why would I bother? Someone else is ahead of me, so they're better than me. Does that ring any bells with anybody? I was very triggered by the word inferior this morning. Now, different context for me personally, why that resonated. But it made me stop and pause and go, oh, wow. Okay. Isn't that interesting? Ashley, I just noticed that we use the word guilty to identify with, yes, I feel that way. I'm not quite ready or smart enough maybe to unpack that, but I bet there's something psychological there that we could probably work on. Why do we say guilt? Like, you know what I mean? Like, isn't that so interesting? We're sitting here talking about mom guilt and we're going, oh yes, I'm guilty of that. I feel guilty. Like, it's just so crazy. Anyway, it's everywhere. But you guys, and I don't even know if Susan's still here. She might've been like, we're not talking about goals, but this is so incredibly important because you can set your goals, you can plan, you can time block, you can daily 5, you can invest in the courses, you can invest in the coaching program. You can do all of these things. And in fact, I recommend every single one of them. I do. And I do every single one for real. I don't not do those things. I do still do those things. In fact, probably more so now. And none of that is going to get you anywhere if we don't take the time to deal with these things that lead us down this rabbit hole, this path of feeling unworthy or feeling like we can't or feeling like, why should we? Right? Like it's so crazy. And to sum this all up in a word, we're talking about mindset. And I know that word, it starts to get, I don't want to say overused because it's very effective, but let's define it. Like, what are we talking about? We are talking about those feelings and those stories that start to take place in your brain. And I'm not saying don't feel your feelings, by the way, but I'm saying, how do we unpack them? How do we deal with them instead of let them paralyze us? How do we deal with them and unpack them and instead of believing them, right? One of the things that we teach here at the Free Mama is our 3C framework. And the third N is nonfiction it, right? Like we have to actually ask ourselves what's true. Well, is it true that someone has the same business idea as you, that you can't be successful in business? No. Like, in fact, it's actually an indicator of the opposite, that there is in fact a market for the thing that you want to pursue. This is good news. And yet for some reason, in an instant of seeing it, we get triggered, we feel a certain way, we tell ourselves a certain story, and we back off from all of the goals that we just spent this past 2 weeks setting for ourselves. That is powerful. That is like seriously powerful. And so we have got to take the time to process these things that show up for us, and let's look at it. And what are we going to do about it? Feel the feels. And that's not my strong suit. That's why I hired Jillian. But my strong suit is the talking yourself back into getting back on track. Sometimes it takes more time than others, but we have to be able to get out of our own way. And like I said, our process for doing this at the Free Mom is the 3C framework, which if you're not familiar with, I do have a YouTube video about that. I'm going to tell it to you right now. We name it. We noodle it. So noodling it kind of is when we feel it. It's like, let's actually, like, what are we talking about? What are we feeling? What's the situation? Like, let's go a little bit deeper than just, okay, name it, imposter syndrome. Okay, noodle it. Well, why am I feeling imposter syndrome? What does that mean? Like, what's actually going on here? What's the scenario? Nonfiction it is what's actually true. What's actually true? True as in like a fact, not a feeling. We have to be able to separate the two. We have to deal with both of them, but we need to unpack them separately. Clarify is an opportunity to create a positive affirmation or to restate the way that you're feeling in a way that is a story that is written for your success. Does that make sense? A lot of the times when we have mindset struggles, we're telling ourselves a story where we lose. So when we clarify, we want to rewrite that story or affirmation in a way where we win, okay? Or where it's positive versus negative, okay? So we're going to spin it. Confide, meaning do not keep this all inside of your brain by yourself. And then commit. And commit is not a passive verb. It is an action verb. So not just, okay, well, I'm committed to like reading this affirmation every day. That's great. That's a great start. What are the outward actions that are going to be able to back this up and create change? So, hey, Jordan. Okay. I need a deep breath. Like I said, I pulled up in my driveway right before I sat down and did this live. How are we feeling? Collective deep breath. Okay, if you guys have questions, and it can be questions about mindset, questions about dealing with our feelings and what we're going through and the stories we're telling ourselves and being honest with ourselves. You guys, you can try to sweep this under the rug. You really can. You can try to tell yourself that this isn't that important a part of a process. Like, I need to worry about networking. Lauren said focus on income producing activities. Like, yes, these things are important, and you won't do them if we don't deal with this thing over here. So Susan, I don't know if you're here, but if you have questions about goals, let me know. We did do a goal setting session in our squad last week. And in fact, I will pull up those notes so I can tell you how we broke that down briefly. But we broke it down into 4 steps. So number 1, what do you want to accomplish this year? Don't look at this in terms of SMART goals. I know that's what I preach, like turning your goals into SMART goals. Just give me a list. What do you want to do this year? I want to go skiing. I want to go on a trip with just my husband. I want to, I actually wanted to do this at the end of last year, like around Christmas, but my Christmas present was late from my husband. I wanted to learn how to make bread, and I've like already done that. So check. Like, you guys, don't wait until June to start working on your goals. What are your financial goals? How much money do you want to make? What do you want this year? What do you want to do? I want to take a girls trip. I don't have my list in front of me anymore. I read my whole list the other day, but like, think about yourself, think about your family, think about your business. What do you want to do this year? Then turn them into SMART goals. So, again, I have several YouTube videos about this. So just go to YouTube, search Free Mama TV and search goals once you're on my channel, and you'll find those. Then so once we have them in SMART goals, we're going to turn them into quarterly goals by prioritizing and breaking them down. Prioritize, break them down. You cannot accomplish everything you want in one year in December. I mean, maybe you can, depending on what you wrote down, but probably not. For most of us, we're going to have those one-off things like, I want to go skiing. I want to go on a girls trip. Cool. Let's look at your calendar. When can you go? What's realistic? How much time do you need to save money? Or how much time do you need to plan for childcare? Or, if you have a certain amount of time off, or your spouse does, or your family has a break, or whatever that is, like, start penciling it in, you guys. If you leave it as a wanting is the first step, because we've got to learn to dream, and we've got to learn to raise the glass ceiling on ourselves, and we've got to learn to think bigger than what we're currently experiencing. But it's really important to turn it into a goal, a SMART goal, and then to prioritize it. And then we start to plan. Then it becomes action steps. I literally am already DMing with a travel agent who saw my Facebook post yesterday about where to go skiing. And like, we don't have it planned yet, but like, I'm pretty sure she's not going to stop DMing me until we do. And I'm like, great, someone else can do it. And guess what? Now she gets to earn commission off of it. So there you go. Fantastic for everybody. So start planning now. Block the time off on your calendar. Treat your wants and then goals like they're going to happen. This is the only way to shift into doing something new that you weren't already doing. And lastly, how will you measure success? So I mentioned the one-off types of goals, right? These are the one-offs where you're going on a trip or you want to experience, paint a painting or whatever your thing is, and it's one time. But then a lot of us have health goals or relationship goals or monetary goals, and these, might be stretched throughout the majority, if not the entire year. So what the fourth step is, we need to think about how will we measure success? How will we measure success? And another word for that is giving yourself benchmarks. Okay. So is this going to be monthly, quarterly, probably both, but you need to be able to hold yourself accountable so that it doesn't become September and you've only made $1,000 from January to August and your goal for the year was 40,000. And now you throw in the towel because you're like, well, I can't do that. That's not going to happen. So it was just unrealistic. No, we have to have benchmarks to hold ourselves accountable throughout the whole year. So there's your brief summary of the goals training if y'all needed assistance with that. And again, if you guys have questions, drop them in the chat. I'm just looking for question marks because I can see you guys talking to each other. And my last announcement, actually, I gotta go back to my calendar so I can see the dates so I don't say it wrong. My last announcement is that our free Mama Movement scholarship is opening up again. Next Monday is when applications will open. So next week you will hear that as an update on my EULA to be able to go to that URL. I'll share it next week, but that application will open again next week on the 11th. If you're on and you either are a scholarship recipient or a previous one, feel free to drop your experience in the chat, in the comments. But basically the way that our scholarship program works is that you get access to the Free Mama Movement 12-week program for free. You also get access to our Free Mama Squad during the duration of your scholarship. And then the exchange is that you also work for us as an intern. So you get to work either under Jordan or Mia on Team Mama and helping us with either administrative tasks, organizational tasks, social media, graphic design. There's a variety of different things that we have that you guys can assist us with. It is so much fun. Our recipients learn so much. It's crazy. And they get real hands-on experience. Hey, Sylvia. I know. Isn't it insane? Sylvia was in our first round. And this is our second round that's actually just getting ready to finish up. And yes, time is flying. So more on that next Monday. But I just wanted to plant the seed that is an opportunity that's coming. And we make the application challenging. I'm just going to be honest, because we want to make sure that we get amazing people like Sylvia who come in and are amazing and super active and understand our community and have taken the time to actually become a member of our world and pour into other people and consume some of the free content and really show us that this is something that's meaningful for you because it's very meaningful for us. So I think somebody said, if you already paid for the 12-week program, can you apply? And the answer to that is yes, Carla. Let's see here. Can you intern separate from the scholarship if you've already done the program? Yes, you can apply. Yep. I think that's what you're asking. I think you're asking the same question. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm actually totally starving. So I'm going to go eat a late lunch. And I hope you guys have an amazing Monday. I hope that this gave you some things to think about today. I don't want it to overwhelm you. I want you to take the time to be honest with yourself about what are you feeling? What are you doing? In fact, I don't have it down here. Dang it. I've gotten really into notebooks lately, which should just let you know that things are happening in my life because I used to live off of digital things and I still do. But I have another notebook that is upstairs. And I'm not going to tell you everything that I talk about on that because I have plans for what I've been doing in that notebook for you guys. But one of the things that I've been doing is if there is a particular trigger for me on any given day, something that, sets me off with my family, like not showing up as my best self, or something that, I see online that derails me, or just kind of what we're talking about. When it guilt, imposter syndrome, feelings of failure, here's another one. Woo! And I've worked through this one. Y'all, I'll tell you what, caring about what other people think about you might be it for some of you. All these money mindset blocks, feeling inferior, whatever your negative beliefs are, I actually, at the bottom of this notebook, which I fill out every single day, I write trigger and what's the word I put? Remedy. So I write trigger, remedy. And so I'll write whatever my trigger was. And it's not always work related for me personally, by the way. Like the other day, I totally screamed at my entire family, like last week, but it's because I was exhausted. I'd been with the dog since 2:30. Then Audrey woke up, then Henry woke up, then Audrey came and got in our bed. Then I tried to sleep in her bed, but then she came back in her room. I was really not very happy the next day, like at all. Like I hated everyone and everything. And I was very grumpy. And so I wrote trigger, not getting enough sleep. And then I wrote remedy. And for those of you who know me, you know that I'm a very, very light sleeper. I actually invested in this like sleep mask that also has headphones inside of the sleep mask. And so I downloaded the Calm app. And so I have noise that's actually soothing and not a cat jumping off and on the bed and a dog chewing its bone in the kennel at the foot of our bed and all of these things that I cannot sleep through because I'm just such a light sleeper. And I'm also very sensitive to light. And so that was my remedy. And what I love about this, and this is new for me, usually I wait to share stuff till I know that it's really working, but I've really enjoyed this the last like week or so that I've been doing it because it allows me to look at what are the things that derail me from being my best self or from showing up how I want to show up, and what am I doing about it? And the remedy is not always buying something, by the way, but in that particular example it was. But it was like I can't just complain about not getting enough sleep every day, although I do, but like what am I actually doing about it? What am I trying to solve that thing that's a trigger? Because if we all reduce those triggers, mindset, limiting beliefs, if we can reduce them or have a tool or sleep mask for overcoming them more quickly, then we can be our best selves more of the day. And if you were showing up, working on your goals for 2021 as the best version of yourself every single day, don't you think it'd be easier to accomplish them? We're going to end on that note. I hope you guys have an amazing Monday. I'll see you guys here next week. Happy 2021. Okay, that just sounds weird. Anyway, have a great day, guys. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Free Mama Radio. Don't forget to check out Free Mama TV right here on YouTube for hundreds of how-to videos and interviews to help you start, grow, and scale a virtual business from home. If you want to join a community of tens of thousands of moms just like you, make sure you join the Free Mama Movement group over on Facebook. And lastly, if you want to learn more about how we can do this together, work to achieve your goals, and make you our next success story, check out my free training at thefreemamamovement.com. I'll see you next time.